I've often said that I've installed probably more doors than the average person has opened. And it's somewhere in the hundreds, maybe even in the thousands. And I was at my friend's house the other day, and he needed a new back door installed. So I did it for him. Well, obviously, it turned out so good because I did it. He wants to do the front door now. So I am going to take the trek over to his place, and we're going to install a front door. Hopefully I could get him to hold the camera here, and you could see all the different methods of madness that I do personally to install a door. Now, whether you've done 0 doors or maybe in the hundreds like I have, you may actually learn a trick or a tip, 1 or 2. Who knows? But anyway, thanks for watching, and welcome to Z-Wing's Workshop. Okay, well, I'm finally here. Like a good neighbor. Tony is here. Yeah, it's for my neighbor. He said Mike's coming here to help us. That's cool, because I like Mike. All right, so here we are. Here's the door. He doesn't have a handle. Who the hell doesn't have a handle on their door? But regardless. It's kind of got a cool snakeskin looking effect to it. So apparently why we want to redo it. Inside looks good. It's got a fancy deadbolt on here. Double deadbolt actually. Don't mention that's where we're going to go to the bathroom later. But the first thing we need to do is obviously we got to get rid of the screen door. And we're going to have to get rid of the interior trim. And he's obviously got some fancy weather stripping going on here. And we're going to have a bit of a little issue trying to tuck it up into that pocket, but that should be a big deal. So yeah, we're going to strip all this stuff out first, and then we are going to cut the jamb. And I like to cut the jambs on angles. That way we could peel out the bottom and then peel out the top. The one thing we're going to have to deal with too is this threshold, which is going to have to be removed. I don't know if the new threshold is going to cover everything. And not to mention, this jamb is much wider than the jambs that come that are in his truck right now. The jamb that's in the truck is only about 4.5 inches wide. This is way more. Let's see where we're at. Almost 6. So we're going to have to do some jamb extensions. This one might be jamb extension on the exterior. So do we got lumber for that? So this will be a first. Not the mics. Smart glass. This thing, I don't know if you guys can see it. Where is it? Works with Alexa. I mean, what the? Yeah, you can operate this thing with your smartphone. I don't know about that, but apparently the glass here like changes color, or maybe not color, but it diffuses and then becomes clear, which is kind of interesting. But the one we installed in the backyard had a wood jamb, and this one actually looks like to be a fiberglass jamb or a plastic jamb, which is nicer than the one we did in the backyard. And the trim as well, the brick mold, is also plastic. And I know the door itself is fiberglass. So at least they didn't do too bad of a job with that. I mean, that's kind of nice to see. I mean, why would you put a wood jamb with a fiberglass door? But that's what they did for the back. So I don't know what he paid for this, but I'm expecting, especially because you can hook it up to your phone, it ain't cheap. But there again, what do you got to do? Smart glass technology. Do not discard this box. I have no idea what's inside it. This is a first for me. I've never actually seen smart doors. So I'm just a dummy who installed just dumb doors. So, but I don't know. We'll check it out. See what it does. All right, the removal process is fighting us because we've got strip screws, and you know, some of the stuff has got so many layers of paint on it. It's a pain in the butt. Then you got this. This was like a copper type of sealing. The problem with this is it covers up your screw holes. So we got to remove that to get the door out of here. We could just pull the pins as well. I might actually keep the door for, it's actually, believe it or not, it's a little nicer condition than the one I have. So we'll see. But yeah, he brought out his crowbar. We're gonna have to do some wrecking here. So the removal process is very different for every door. I took the tin snips, I cut this, and I actually backed out the screws. You can see they're straight head. Now, one of the cool things about the older doors are, they actually have a 4-inch tall hinge. And they're put in with pretty thick screws, which is pretty nice compared to today's standards. The door is actually solid wood. It's not infilled with scrap garbage. I mean, it is kind of scrap. The one big issue I'm looking at right now is, I said the jam was thick. Well, there's a piece of 1x, old Doug fir, that is, I gotta pull that screw first. It's kind of on both sides. This side's not gonna be as bad, but it is tucked behind the brick here. So we're gonna have to figure that out, and I'm assuming it's gonna go all the way up in the top too. That is gonna make this probably a little extra challenging, right? Mike will help us. All right, a big part of the demolition process is to remove your inside casing because you definitely do not want to tear up the drywall. Oh, too late. You could get your utility knife in here, cut it, which it looks like he probably already has at one point, and then you definitely want to pull this stuff off first. So that's what he's doing over there, cutting the caulk line so that way you don't destroy your drywall. And again, I like using the knife to kind of get back there. Oh, we got a wire for his ding-donger. Is this premium MDF?
It's a maple or
oh, watch out, watch out.
This is poplar.
It is poplar. Oh, nice. I hear it's a very popular wood. See, now Tom does the same stuff I do. He does like cabinet and millwork stuff.
Yeah, it's like a
He made all this fancy stuff, floating vanity. He didn't make the toilet, but look at that fancy staircase. And his house is very much laid out as mine as well. But yeah, he does, his kitchen's actually finished. Look at this guy, he's checking out our door over there. Don't you want to take it? All right, do the other side.
little more. No.
Oh, you gotta go deeper still?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I always recommend is too, you measure what you had and make sure you got the proper swing and all that good stuff, which I'm sure Tom did. Right, Tom?
Yeah.
We'll find out later. But if you're curious about your swing, obviously you put your back to your hinge, and if the door opens this way, it's left hand. If the door opens the other way, it's a right hand. All right, so measuring the door here, we got 37.5 inches. Your standard door height is going to be, well, the jamb, I should say, the top of the jamb should be roughly around 81 inches, which is about where we're at here. So we should be good. Now, obviously, this is a left-hand door. There should be a hinge underneath here somewhere, but it's all covered. There's the hole for the lock set, so it should be good. Measuring the inside, we are a hair over 37, so we should be all right. Obviously, here's his, like I say, his ding-donger for his ring. We're gonna have to rework that. But the purpose of doing the jamb like so is that way we can get a bar in here and we can kind of remove the bottom. Once we get both legs of the jambs out of here, then we could go to the top. What a piece of crap garbage. Stupid battery power tools. So he wants their saws off. Now he's cutting the nails out of there. No wonder why the kids don't eat their broccoli. It's covered in dust. Gotta flush. All right, so we swept out. We were able to get everything cleared out. Now, by the magic of, I have no idea what the magic of, this actually is 4.5 inches. So we are gonna run the door against this substrate, and there is gonna be a gap here. Now the best thing to do is we're going to get another piece of trim and we're going to put it over a lot of this nasty caulk joint. He said he could scrape it out, but even if you go a little bit further out off the brick mold, it'll cover up that caulk joint anyway, and it should work going all the way up. The big issue is kind of like the back door. We're going to have to kind of slide the door up into this pocket here. And actually, I just noticed a nail, so we're going to have to get rid of that. Looks like he had some friends in here. Let's clean this up. And then we'll dig the door out and make it fancy. Let's see if he steps on the threshold. It's moving. That big piece of limestone is not secure. Not good, but it is what it is.
This is plastic?
Yeah. Yeah, you have a plastic jam. And usually I like to do a reinforcing plate, but it's kind of nice that they actually give you a reinforcing plate. I know on the back door we took the old reinforcing plate and went over it. It was good. But this is, the reinforcing plate is good when it's a wood jam, because the wood will split. This probably won't split as much because it's plastic. Now, save those. These are so great and handy to have. But here's the jam. They got it screwed in on the top. I mean, I'm pretty impressed that it actually has a PVC fiber, jam. He likes his garbage piece of drill. You know what I like. Now, he said this jam was kind of expensive, and it really makes sense because, yeah, it's a fiberglass jam. I mean, it definitely has wood on the inside, but the actual, or not the jam, the door, the jam is all PVC along with the trim. I like how they only put like 3 friggin' screws or 3 nails. And then if you want to see how this actual glass works, check out that code. It's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how it's going to work. He brought me a stick. I'll show you what that's for. That is the door equivalent of holding your hair back. You ready? All right, we muscled the door into place. I haven't put a level or anything on it. But when you're dealing with pre-hungs, the best thing to do is I look at the margins. And it's almost like the Lexus commercial when they had the marbles running through the margins. The one you want to worry about the first is your top margin. You can see here where the handle is, it's a little bit thicker than it is over here. So definitely we're going to have to go and move this over to make that work. And then as you can see, as you do that, it does open up that margin. Now it's a little tight here in the middle, but that can be done with shimming. The bottom is also good. Not to mention you want to make sure the sweep is not binding either. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be plumb. I hate to tell you that, but it's the truth, especially too when you're already dealing with very tight margins of your brick. So you really got to kind of go with what's here. And hopefully the mason that did this in the 60s, because that's when these houses were built, did a good job. And I'm sure they did because they actually cared back then. So you brought the shims?
Yeah.
Where's Mike at? Oh, there he is. All right, so we're going to attach this with screws. And obviously I had given him some of these, we'll show them to you a little later. They're Robertson heads, dry or finish screws that he can put this casing on a little tighter at least. But we know we're going to have, we got a 2x4 backing behind the jam. What I like to do is I peel this threshold or the weather stripping out of here on both sides. I don't do it on the top obviously, but I do it on both sides. Now you may ask, why do I do that? Because that is the perfect spot where you could bury a screw. And then you don't have to fill it, you don't even see it. So that comes out first. Then what I like to do is, I do 5 sets of shims on both sides. I do a shim at the very top, I do a shim at the very bottom. For the strike, I put a shim behind the plate for the handset. I do another one for the deadbolt. And then, because this usually is the longer run, I'll put the 5th one here. When I go to here, I put one behind every hinge, and at the very top, and at the very, very bottom. That way it holds it nice and plumb. And what I like to do is I'll bury a screw behind the hinge, and then obviously they give you a screw for a longer screw that's included with the door. So you basically have 2 long screws where your hinges are. That helps, keeps everything nice and straight. You never have to worry about it later on. But you can see though too, we're right equal with the drywall. That's perfect for casing. And by removing that 1x that was there, puts the brick mold in here, this should have no problem fitting up back in here. And actually I could probably do that now. Let's pull back the hair tie. Okay, it's a little bit wide, but that's all right. He's just gonna have to add another piece. And again, we're gonna add another piece of PVC trim down here. He's gonna fill it with foam first, and then we could cover it all up. And that'll be fine. The beauty about this is he doesn't have to worry about jam extensions now. The big bitch is, if you ever wanna add a screen door, we're gonna have to do something.
Make some wood.
We're gonna have to do something there with the screen door.
Yeah.
I already tested this side of the jam's got to come up. Come on, put the stick on there. Is it good? No, he said
perfect.
it's perfect. Well, you know what I always say, perfect is good enough for me. He's got to try the level in many directions because it's one of those kind of levels. But yeah, we'll be good with that. We'll grab our little knife and get rid of this. We know the head's good now. At least we think it is. His level says it is. So I'm going to do the hinge side now. And yeah, we're pretty far off. But we are very tight on the very bottom, so that means the top has to come over, which is about right because it's sticking into the brick. So we'll move that guy over. But I will start with shimming the bottom here, and I'll put a screw. Come on, focus. That way we know that is not going to move. All right, so I had to trim back a little of the drywall because the drywall is overhanging the wood, and you don't want the shim. Obviously, we're loose here. What I like to do is I'll take my little tin snips and I'll cut the leading edge because obviously we cannot feed shims from the other side. And we're going to put that roughly right where the screw's going to go. Something else you got to pay attention to is how is it in the wall itself, because you know sometimes the walls aren't plumb. What I'd recommend is if your wall is not plumb, whatever your bubble looks like on the one side, you're going to have to just match it on the other side. That way your door does not look weird and you know, look warped. So we're just going to have to go with whatever the wall is. And just for giggles, the wall, hard to get a good reading here. Just for giggles, the wall is pretty plumb. So that's actually kind of good. So we should be able to get this guy pretty plumb as well. But now that the bottom corner is, I'm going to do the other corner. So he's watching these people and they're sitting here dancing. You better off watching my video. Anyway, so again, we go back to the margins here. You can see the top margin is tighter. Well, actually, it looks pretty good. But we're going to have to move it over. Obviously, this margin is a little bit loose. So let's get this at the top of the jam. We'll put some shims in both corners. We'll get this guy plumbed in this direction. All right, so we got the top hinge installed. There is a screw behind there. We're going to put some shims back there. Being a PVC jam, there's a lot of flexibility involved, so it's a little bit harder to get a great reading on your level. But we're going to do the same thing here. So it's constant. I'm going to put a screw about right here. We're going to obviously shim it behind there. We're going to get this working. I'm going to put everything back together as far as the screws go in. And then we just want to we're going to close the door, look at margins. And we're going to just continue to look at it. And then, you know, we'll double check it with the level. But really, again, it kind of goes to that Lexus marble commercial where you want to make sure you got good, nice, equal margins all the way up and down the door. Once you get the top done and the bottom done, then the middle is pretty easy. Because, you know, this this bottom of the jam, if it comes out, it's going to raise the bottom of the door. You're going to have rubbing on the top. So you want to make sure that you're getting pretty close. We know that, though, is right on where it needs to be. So let me pop this guy in. Okay, so we've been moving along. We got the second hinge installed. This one now too. I'm gonna close the door here. You can see that margin. It's kind of nice with the weather stripping out too, because you can see how nice and smooth and beautiful that margin is. And he went to Grey Goose vodka. And, you know, I don't drink like he does, so he's trying to get me drunk. So if this door's all messed up, Tom, it's all your fault. So we're going to throw this thing in here. Obviously, this is going to be a 3 shimmer like the bottom. This one, though, does not need to be tight because we already know it's going to be good. It's hard to do with one hand. And he's drinking, so he can't hold the camera. So I'll be right back. All right, so the third hinge is now installed, and you can see we got decent margins. This is a little tight up on top. That's not really the end of the world, but we've got good margin all the way down, and we have good clearance here. Now, basically, what we have to do is we got to take this dimension, which whatever that gap is, which we have the same similar gap, and we're just going to tighten up the jamb to match that gap going all the way down. But as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of hinges, and our longer screws are put in as well. We got a screw holding the jamb to the wood behind it and pinching in the shims, and then this guy is kind of holding. This is almost like your double backup. It is nice and crazy solid.
Secure.
So let's do this side now. So Mike isn't helpful enough, so we got to go to this stuff. It's grapefruit. It's actually really good. I steal it from him all the time. I mean, he offers it to me all the time.
Mike supposed to go to another job.
Yes, Mike went. Yeah, Mike went to another job. So here we are. Everything's in. You can see that nice, beautiful margin. So we're good. Top looks pretty good as well. We're in good shape.
Nice, man.
Yes, he's got his workstation over there, and he's figuring out his $11 lock set that he just bought, and it's a quick set, which means quick pick. I recommend Schlage if you ever buy lock sets, but these are all kind of temporaries. He's got new ones on order. The weather stripping is put back in, and as you can see, you don't see all those screws I put in there, and you don't have to worry about filling nail holes. Nice, huh? Isn't that a good idea?
Oh, perfect.
You see? And just to show you how the door nicely fits, we actually adjusted the sweep. If you ever wondered what these screws are for, it actually raises and lowers that threshold and makes it a little bit tighter. So that way you got a good seal at the very bottom. And if you look,
Let's open now.
it's in really good shape. We don't see any light. And there is your top head of your door. Again, this is a little tight. It's not the end of the world. It's not touching, so we're okay. And yeah, we're in good shape. And I'm not going to tell you what to buy, but I wouldn't recommend buying a quick set lock, especially the ones that actually have like these like little keys things that you could change to make all your keys the same. It's all plastic guts on the inside. They're not the really greatest, but the thing that you have to pay attention to, and just about all exterior locks have this, is this little tab. Now this little tab is an anti-pick tab. See, once that tab is pushed in, this strike will not go in. When the tab is out, the strike will go in. If you ever seen that trick where people take a credit card and they can pop the door open, well, that's because this is into the strike plate too much. So you need to prevent that the door, and especially with this very, very puffy weather stripping, you need to make sure that this weather stripping, you know, the door cannot be pulled inward to where it will put this tab into the strike plate and then allow somebody to get in here with a credit card and pop it open. Now, granted, you're going to probably have a deadbolt, but if you don't have a deadbolt, still, this is a good safeguard. So you want to make sure when you're closing the door, it's working and you got enough pressure on it to where you can't really push it forward enough to where that's going to get released. And that's how we're at. Now, he does have a deadbolt, or am I recommend getting you a deadbolt? I don't know. But as far as we're concerned, the nuts and bolts of this door has been installed. And that's it. He's going to take care of the trim, and he's going to take care of the exterior trim. He's going to fill the gaps with foam. and do whatever caulking may or may not be necessary. And that is it. So that's all. Now he's gonna make me eat some stuff that's not sauerkraut, thank God. Polish something or other. And I'm gonna finish drinking this. I thought it's Polish beer, but he said it's not. So he's the expert. All right, now he has his keypad deadbolt. He's not 100% sure if he's keeping it or it's just going to be temporary for right now. But just so you know, when the strike gets engaged with the strike plate, there should be no binding when you go to the door. So I always set this guy first. Make sure that plate is exactly where it needs to be. We just talked about that, why it needs to be where it needs to be. Close it. There should not be able to, you shouldn't be able to push it in any further. And then that deadbolt should just be able to flip-flop. No big deal. He doesn't have the electric powered up, but that's probably, that turns this glass clear, which is kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested to see how it works. But otherwise, that is it. That's all you really need to do for a door. All right, so I'm back in the shop now, and he still has all the cleaning up and the caulking and the foaming and the adding the little extra trim and whatnots. I'll let him take care of that. Obviously, if you're doing this, you're going to have to do that as well. But hopefully, maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. You know, we were, and you know, him and I, we have a good time working together. He's a great neighbor, and that's about it. So I have some soup to go eat, and I will see you guys on the next one. Remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching Z-Wings Workshop. We'll see you on the next one. I'm trying it right now. You didn't put any sauerkraut in this. You know how I feel about sauerkraut. It tells you how bad it is just by its name.
My neighbor